much, Professor Eli. Professor Eli Ben-Sasson. First of all, I need to tell you personal thank you also, because you remind me the days of my high school when my math professor said, how you cannot love mathematics? See the beautiful of it. And so you remind me my days in high school, so I feel now much younger. But two areas that is very interesting for blockchain. One is related to electronic identity. Why we need to carry our electronic identity? Even here in Israel, we have a new program. You know, the commercial, change your passport to the new passport and change your electronic ID to the new ID card. Why we cannot use blockchain? If I want to go to register, for example, if you want to go to register your kids to school, why you need to carry any document with you? Why they cannot verify? You already have a bank account. You already carrying your mobile phone. So they can verify this without asking you to sign anything, to remember something, to prove. They can verify this without that. Another very interesting area of blockchain is aviation. What about all the logbooks, all the equipment, all the parts of the airplanes? This reminds me to encourage you to come to our Cyber and Aviation event on Wednesday morning, right, Pascal? Pascal Formiata is here, and we are encouraging you to come to the Cyber and Aviation on Wednesday. So I will now switch to the last keynotes. I don't need to present him because you are here from blockchain, you absolutely read about this company so much. It has been mentioned already. So I would like to call Eyal Herzog from Bancor Protocol, which they raised just 2 weeks ago, first time, $153 million US. Eyal, please.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Eyal Herzog. I'm from Bancor Protocol. We've been working on that for over a year. And I want to tell you a little bit about how we see the whole blockchain industry, which is, I think, a unique perspective because we are mostly people that build end-user application. And I think that one of the challenges of the blockchain industry as a whole is making everything friendlier. So, you know, we hear all the time, why is blockchain good? And then, you know, there are millions of ways to explain it. Try to think, how would you explain the internet when it started to someone who's asking, what is this internet? Why do you need it? And that's the challenge we face today. So I'll give you our brief example. Or a brief explanation. So, you know, the internet started with the ability to send information, and information is one of the two things that we use to interact with each other as a standard way. It's information and value. This is how people, they talk to each other, they transfer information, writing, and they also transfer value to each other, whether it's product, services, or money. We are using those two protocols all the time. Now, it's very different from each other because if I want to send a message, then, you know, it's something that you can copy. But if I want to send money, then you shouldn't be able to copy that. It should be somehow be safe from people, you know, sending it to several other people. So the internet is not good for that in general. And this is why we've been using those big, nice institution that would hold databases of ledgers that will hold every activity and make sure it's secure. And that's what we had until Bitcoin arrived. And Bitcoin was the first public ledger, the first public database. It's a distributed database. There are copies everywhere. So you can have a ledger with transactions that everyone can access, and you do that with no trusted party, as was said before here. So what is the blockchain 2.0? The blockchain 2.0, I think it's the movement like we saw between phones and smartphones. What's the difference between the phone and smartphone? You can use phone to call, but smartphone, you can write software to a smartphone. And when you can write software to it, it becomes much more interesting. And that's what we're seeing in the new blockchain wave. Something that Ethereum as a platform enabled to write software that sits on the blockchain and actually write modules that are operated from the blockchain in a trustless, transparent manner. And that has been very successful for them. So Ethereum, they actually made a big ICO. They raised $18 million at the time. That was considered record-breaking. And the price was 30 cents. Today, the price is over 300. So it's a 1,000-fold increase for those people who bought those tokens. Now, that's very interesting because those Ether, the native currency of Ethereum, is what you need in order to use Ethereum. This is how you pay the miners. So it guarantees that if you use Ethereum, you're going to need that. And if you're going to need that, it's going to have value. And if it has value, then it's actually useful to move value between different users of the Ethereum network, which is what makes it useful and what increases the price. Because as more and more people are using Ethereum, the more and more people need the currency, the price will go up. That's just how it works. Now, this is how like a smart contract looks in Ethereum. It has really, simple instruction. I like to look at those smart contracts as some kind of automated trustees. So if you go to a trustee, a lawyer, you give him a contract, he should do exactly what the contract says. If he's a good trustee, if you can trust him. And he can actually store money for you. He can collect money. He can register all kind of shares to people. He can do a lot of services to the people around it. And he does that exactly by following what you wrote in the contract. And this is what Ethereum allows you to do. It allows you to create this decentralized entity that would do exactly what you told her in the contract. And people are asking, is there a useful application for that? And I think one of the reasons that Bancor did a good job of engaging with the community for the crowdfunding event is exactly because we provide some interesting usage in smart contracts. And to understand how we saw that smart contract can be used, it's important to understand the phenomenon of the long tail. Now, this is a very painful lesson for me. I don't know how many of you know. I was the founder of MetaCafe, which was bigger than YouTube for a while. And then YouTube just skyrocketed. And it took me some time to kind of understand what happened. And interestingly, we were always focusing for day one to bring the best videos to everyone. And we had a special algorithm to find the best videos and to deliver it to our audience. And we had the best video homepage on the web. So that's great. But we found out that 99.9% of the traffic is in the long tail of videos. It's some people watching videos about blockchain. People watching their favorite soccer team. So there's a long tail. The smaller niches are so much bigger than the hit. And this is something we see a lot. Now, a good example of that is what we like to call three-tier ecosystems that have a long tail. For example, those who use Reddit, they know that the Reddit has a long tail of discussion groups that are created by users, and people are using those discussion groups to talk about any topic in the world. That became the #1 news source in the United States for young people. You can look at Facebook groups. Every group that, I'm sure many of you are using Facebook group, those groups are created by someone. There are so many more than you can count, and each one is a niche with its own usage. With currency, the keyword is liquidity, because liquidity is what connects different network of currency to each other. So if we have a long tail of currencies, it's actually useless if you cannot convert one to another. It's like isolated network. I like to give the example that the office network is a great thing. I used to manage those networks, and it's very useful. You can do calendaring and emailing among the employees and share files. It's great. But how much more powerful it becomes when you connect it to the internet? Then you connect to the entire world data. And this is the difference between a currency which is isolated, illiquid, internal, and a currency which is liquid, that you can exchange it to other currency, and there is a solution for that. And that creates a global financial network, this liquidity. And the usage that we found for smart contracts is in that space, because today liquidity is provided in exchanges with traders that are actually using bid and ask system to connect it, to buy and sell currencies from each other, and market makers are actually providing the liquidity that allow you to take your credit card and pay anywhere in the world with it. This is what stands in the background. And we found a solution that, you know, we call it a smart token, which is a currency, but because it's using Ethereum, it's on top of Ethereum, then this currency can be programmed. We can create a smart token, like a smartphone that you can program. A smart token is something you can program. And the program that is written into the smart token is one that actually defines a liquidity pool owned by the entire group. So the entire group of people that are using the currency to collaborate between themselves, because that's what currency is. It's a tool for collaboration between people, buying and selling and transferring value. And this group of people that using any currency can have a common liquidity pool, and that liquidity pool is something that they use if they want to, if external people want to buy the currency, they want to acquire it, they use this liquidity pool, and if someone who hold the currency want to cash out and actually convert it to someone else can use this liquidity pool. And this liquidity pool, we call it reserve, is what determines the price of the currency at any moment. And this is how we use smart contracts, essentially, using those formula to calculate the price of the currency to create intrinsically liquid currencies. Currencies that can be liquid without needing to be traded in exchange. They can be connected to each other. And that's how we use the innovation of smart contracts for the application that we've been working on for 6 years. So that's, I think, summarized more or less, you know, how we view the blockchain. We think that this is such a big revolution, and allowing everyone to use that tool of currency actually have the potential to eradicate poverty in the world, because it's something that allows people to collaborate better and work with each other better and make sure that we use our resources better, and it gives freedom to people to use that tool that we call the currency, that has been one of the greatest inventions of mankind. It's allowed everything we see around us. And that tool is becoming, like blogging become available to anyone, like video broadcasting become available to anyone, like many other tools that the internet brought forward and made it available to anyone. This is what happened to the tool of currency, the tool of medium of exchange of value transfer. It becomes democratized, and everyone can participate in the game and communicate with each other. So thank you very much.